Alrighty, guys, we're now 3-0 in our last three extra daily bets on my website. And the good thing about our extra daily bet, it costs just $2.99 for a full month of service. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to our NBA video here today for Saturday, February 11th, 2023. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to your weekend. My name is Brock Page. I've been doing sports picks on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal plays on patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we are 3-0 in our last three extra daily bets on that website. Now, the extra daily bet is a package that I offer on that site. And if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And that is an added bonus here, guys. You're also going to get access to my daily best play every day, absolutely free as well. It's going to be included with your purchase. The math works out to be just 9 cents a day if you sign up for that membership here today. And if you want to get access to every single personal play, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive board member package. Once again, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership for the next 30 days. The math actually works out to be just $1.66 a day. Now, we currently have over 540 members who are signed up and active on that site right now. And of course, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free plays on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, let's go ahead and get into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Sixers at the Nets, 6 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Philadelphia's -1, totals 225. The Sixers won 7 out of their last 10, and they've been really tough to score against. Philly's currently in the top 3 in defensive points per game. They're also led by Joel Embiid, who has a bunch of blocks on the year and averages 8 defensive rebounds a night. Now, when it comes to offensive production, James Harden's leading the NBA in assists with over 10.5 a night. They're facing a new-look Brooklyn squad who's one of the worst rebounding teams in the East. The Nets are grabbing fewer offensive boards a game than any other team in the NBA except for one. And no real surprise here, guys. The Nets are toward the bottom of the barrel in the East in home defensive boards as well. Now, injury-wise, Curry's out. Claxton's questionable. When it comes to the total, Brooklyn's 11-6 of the under against Eastern Conference opponents at home. Meanwhile, Philly saw 3 out of their last 5 road games stay under the total themselves. Give me the Sixers -1. Under 225. Next game, Nuggets, Hornets, 7 o'clock East. Denver's -8.5, totals 237 and a hook. Now, the Nuggets do have a losing record on the road, and they are a little banged up right now. Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray are questionable. Zeke Naji still out. When it comes to defensive play, the Nuggets are giving up nearly 118 points a game on the road. They also have a higher defensive field goal percentage on the road than any other team in the NBA except for one. They're going to have to slow down LaMelo Ball, who scores over 23 points a game, along with 8 assists. Meanwhile, Terry Rozier is scoring 21 points a game himself. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Hornets are actually one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, injury-wise, Cody Martin's questionable for Charlotte. Meanwhile, for Denver, once again, Gordon and Murray are questionable. When it comes to the total, 6 out of Denver's last 7 got over the number. Meanwhile, Charlotte saw overs against the likes of Boston, Miami, and Phoenix. Give me Charlotte +8.5, keeping that one close. Over 237 and a hook. Next game, Pacers, Wizards, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Washington's -5.5, totals 234. Now, the Wizards got the W in 7 out of their last 10. And they covered the point spread in 70% of those contests. When it comes to defensive play, the Wizards have been tough to shoot against. These guys have one of the lowest defensive field goal percentages in the Eastern Conference. Kristaps Porzingis averages over 6.5 defensive boards a game. He's also scoring 22 points a night offensively. Meanwhile, Bradley Beal scoring 22 points a game himself. They're facing a Pacer team who lost 7 out of their last 8, and they've yet to reach double-digit wins on the road. Out of 27 contests away from Indy, the Pacers got the W only 8 times. When it comes to the injury report, Jalen Smith is questionable for Indiana. Meanwhile, for Washington on the other side, Kyle Kuzma is out with an ankle. Now, total-wise, Washington saw overs against the likes of Brooklyn, Portland, and Dallas. They're also 60% to the over in the Capital One Arena. Give me Washington minus 5.5, over 234. Next matchup, it is going to be Heat at the Magic, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Miami's the 1-point favorite on the road, totals 215.5. Now, the Heat's beaten Orlando in 8 out of their last 10 meetings. They held the Magic to just 102 points a game during that span. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Jimmy Butler's averaging a couple of steals defensively a game. He's also leading the Heat in scoring. Of course, Bam Adebayo, he's getting over 21.5 points a game himself. They're facing an Orlando team who's 10 games below 500, and they have a tough time guarding the field goal at home. These guys have one of the higher defensive field goal percentages at home in the East. When it comes to offensive production, the Magic's in the bottom 5 in the NBA in points per game. Now, injury-wise, Gary Harris is questionable for Orlando. Chuma Okike's out. Meanwhile, for Miami, Kyle Lowry's still out. Victor Oladipo's questionable. When it comes to the total, 7 out of Miami's last 10 stayed under the number. Meanwhile, Orlando went 70% to the under in their last 10. Give me Miami minus 1, under 215.5. Next game, it is going to be Spurs Hawks, 7:30 p.m. East. Atlanta's minus 14, totals 240. Now, the Hawks covered in 5 out of their last 8. They certainly have little issue getting on the scoreboard. Atlanta's one of the higher scoring teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Of course, a lot of that is thanks to Trae Young, who's obviously averaging a team-high 27 points a game, along with double-digit assists. Meanwhile, DeJounte Murray, he's scoring over 21 points a game himself. Now, they're facing a Spurs team who has the second fewest wins in the entire Western Conference right now. And no real surprise, the Spurs are currently giving up a league-worst 124 points a game on the road. Nobody's giving up more points a game away from home than San Antonio right now. Now, injury-wise, Devin Vassal's still out. McDermott, Birch, Johnson, Langford, and Sochan are questionable. Meanwhile, for the Hawks on the other side, Aaron Holiday is questionable for them. When it comes to the total, Atlanta went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, San Antonio is 17-9 to the over in their travels. I'm going to lean toward the Hawks, minus 14, over 240. Next matchup, it is going to be Jazz at the Knicks, 7:30 p.m. East. New York's minus 5, totals 228. Now, the Knicks have been real solid on the defensive end of the court this year. They've done a nice job guarding the 3-ball, and they're in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Julius Randle grabs nearly 9 defensive boards a night. He's also scoring a team-high 24 points a game. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson averages 23 points a game himself, and he's drilling nearly 41% of his long balls. And they're facing a Utah team who struggles on the road. Out of 27 road games this year, the Jazz got the W only 10 times. When it comes to defensive play, the Jazz allow nearly 119 points a night in their travels. Now, total-wise, Utah's 18-9 to the over away from Salt Lake City. Of course, that can be attributed to their sloppy defensive play. Meanwhile, New York went 70% to the over against Western Conference opponents at MSG. I'm going to lean toward New York minus 5, over 228. Next contest, Bulls, Cavaliers, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Cleveland's minus 5, totals 221. Now, the Red Hot Cavaliers won their last 5 straight, and they've been insanely tough to score against. They're giving up fewer points per contest than any other team in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell's got a bunch of steals on the season. He also leads the team in points. Meanwhile, Darius Garland's knocking down nearly 42% of his long balls. Now, they're facing a Bulls team on the other side of things who plays their worst basketball on the road. out of 28 contests away from the Windy City. The Bulls got the W only 10 times. When it comes to offensive play, Chicago's in the bottom 5 in the league right now in second quarter scoring away from home. Now, injury-wise, DeRozan, Caruso, and Williams are questionable for Chicago. When it comes to the number, the Bulls saw 4 out of their last 5 on the road stay under the total. They also went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 outings at any location. Meanwhile, Cleveland on the other side, they went 70% to the under in their last 10 ball games themselves. Give me the Cavaliers -5, under 221. Next contest, it is going to be Lakers at the Warriors, 8:30 p.m. East. Golden State's the 3-point favorite at home, totals 238. And even though the Warriors are still missing Steph Curry in the lineup, they've still been very tough to beat in the Chase Center this year. Golden State's 21-6 in front of their own fans, right in their own arena. And they have the lowest defensive three-point percentage at home in the league. Now, when it comes to defensive play, the Warriors are also in the top 3 in defending the field goal in their own building. Now, Draymond Green, he's been a big piece of that defensive effort. He grabs nearly 7 defensive rebounds a night. And, of course, Klay Thompson, he's scoring 21.5 points a game offensively. He's drilling 40% of his three-pointers. Now, they're facing a Laker team who lost their last 3 straight. They play some terrible defense on the road. LA's giving up 121 points a game in their travels. And they're one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the league. Now, injury-wise, LeBron James and AD, they are both listed as questionable. Meanwhile, Steph Curry, he's still out for Golden State. When it comes to the total, 4 out of Golden State's last 5 outings at home did get over the number. The Warriors have also gone 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Lakers on the other side, they are currently 60% to the over against divisional opponents. And both defenses have been real lackluster this year. Both squads are allowing over 118 points per contest on average. I'm going to lean toward Golden State -3 over 238. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Mavs at the Kings, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Sacramento's -2, totals 235.5. And even though the Kings lost to Dallas just last night, I think they have too much firepower to lose 2 in a row to Dallas. Sacramento scoring a league-high 123 points a game at home. They're also making nearly 52% of their field goals in the Golden One Center. Domantas Sabonis, he's making 60% of his field goal attempts. He's also second on the team in scoring. Meanwhile, De'Aaron Fox, he's averaging a team-high 24 points a game himself. Now, they're facing a Dallas team on the other side who gives up $115 a game on the road. They're also letting their opponents make just about 50% of their field goals against them in their travels as well. When it comes to the injury list, Bertans and Kleber are still out. Doncic is questionable. Meanwhile, for Sacramento, Malik Monk is questionable with an ankle. When it comes to the total, Sacramento is 18-10 to the over in front of their own crowd. Meanwhile, Dallas saw 3 out of their last 4 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean towards Sacramento -2 over 235.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me the Sixers -1 under 225. Hornets +8.5 over 237 and a hook. Washington -5.5 over 234. Miami Heat -1 under 215.5. Atlanta Hawks -14 over 240. New York Knicks -5 over 228. Cleveland -5 under 221. Golden State Warriors -3 over 238. With my next and final free pick, give me Sacramento -2 over 235.5.